Through enduring hardships, the tears of pain I shed today will be the tears of joy I shed tomorrow. I am Coach mjdtiger, certified life coach and mentor. Through passion and purpose, aiding those through the valleys, over the mountains, and conquering the volcanoes of life. While free, yet connected to everything, every place, and every person around us, we can obtain a life of freedom and wellness through passion and purpose. There is no end. You are here now. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up. How are you feeling? Take a moment to do a self-check-in for yourself. Do this every morning, throughout the day as needed, and every night before you close your eyes for sleep. Ask yourself, how are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling spiritually? And all, how do you feel in your mind? How do you feel in your body? How do you feel in your heart? And how do you feel in your soul? Balancing yourself is a healthy daily practice that will reliably keep you in harmony with your entire mind, body, heart, and soul. Take these next few moments of meditation in silence to answer those very questions. How are you feeling? Something to think about every day, every single day. Fear, mistrust in yourself, doubt, limited beliefs. These are things that you have to rid yourself of every single day. And it may have to be a reset button every single day. That reset button is trust. And that button is powered by self-love and self-respect you have for yourself. Everything that you fear, everything that you believe is holding you back, everything that you think is going wrong, there's always another way. There's always a different point. And sometimes we're going too fast. We got to slow down, sometimes even stop. The goal is just not to go backwards. It's to go forwards. We can only do that by trusting ourselves to know we can get over fear and obstacles, and limited beliefs, and the stories we tell ourselves each day that we can't do it. Yes, we can. Yes, we will. Yes, we do. That is something to think about every single day, every single moment. You do, you can, you will. There is no should. There is no try. Just do it. Be patient with yourself, love yourself, be grateful for what you have, and forgive yourself, and keep moving forward. You are stronger than what you are giving yourself credit for. Trust yourself. You are. Episode 3. You are climbing your volcanoes alone. It's always nice to have a companion. It's always great to have someone that you feel will be there for you throughout it all, that will push through it with you, whether it's one person, two people, a whole village of people, a church, co-workers, family members, significant other. It's real easy to get caught in the romanticism and the trap and the fantasy of believing that just because you have others alongside you, you are, as an individual, endowed with super strength and extra super strength just because all these people are with you. Well, in reality, as we talked about in episode 2, you are far stronger than you believe you are as an individual. And if your core foundation of who you are is intact and has been improved upon each day, but it's already set in stone, and you're growing it like a tree, you add on to the tree. It continues to grow and grow and grow. The roots are going to continue to make its foundation stronger to make up for the fact that up top, the tree is getting larger. That tree, as an individual, is but of one tree that makes up a forest. You strip away the rest of the forest, it's a solitary tree. But you don't call that tree a tree. When you step back and you're looking at all the trees, it's a forest. You don't say, there's a tree in there. That's a tree. We do these things in life. We look at things like that in life because it is extremely important to know that we are individuals that make up a whole. Even the logo for The Brave Never Fall, it is not one person. It's 3 people, but it's one logo. The people are connected, but the heads are all their own individual minds. We're connected, but we're free. And that is what The Brave Never Fall is all about. It's about the true belief that you as an individual create enough purpose and passion within yourself to make a positive impact on this world. And not in a bullshit type of way where it's just words. We, as The Brave Never Fall, always shows and displays it's about action. It is about action. It is not about what you talk about doing, what you talk about what you did. It's about what are you doing. We can talk about what we did, and we can talk about what we're going to do, but what are we doing in the current moment? You are here now. You are not behind. You are not forward. You are right now. We talk about crossroad moments, the decisions we make, and the parts we play in our own lives and how it affects other people. If we don't know who we are at our core, if we don't know what we represent, what we can actually give and be consistent with and disciplined with in life as a person, we are just clay. We are just clay. We can be molded into anything we want to be. There's another word for that. It's called, you can be manipulated into anything you want to be, and you can be manipulated by others into anything they want you to be. But clay hardens. There's nothing wrong with starting with clay. You just don't want to remain clay. Eventually, you want to become something. You want to be represented and says, no matter what, I can't go back for this. There's my foundation. The clay has hardened. That piece of clay that is hardened will remind you that you are your own individual. Sure, you could add some more clay onto it, but it's very hard to take away from it without it breaking and becoming nothing. So it's very important that the core, although you can add onto it, the core needs to be there, or otherwise it shatters. These volcanoes I talk about comes last after the mountain and the valley. The valley is the place of introspection, reflection, and what's to come. Preparing yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually for not only what's to come, but gaining all that experience and knowledge and saying, what did I learn? What is my after action report? Not my after spoken report. After action report. What did you do? What could you improve upon? Who did you inspire? Who did you let down? What could you have done better, faster, stronger, more efficiently? Was you pushing yourself to your limits in a positive way? Or were you purposely avoiding, procrastinating, and thinking that everything is going to come easy to you because you want it to? Life will remind you constantly that nothing comes easy. Everything in life must be earned. And the moment an individual starts believing that things should be handed to them, that everything that they do, you need help to help you with it, that everything you do is above board and it's for you because you have all these built-in excuses and experiences that justifies the fact that you have or don't have what you have or what you want or what you need. Purposeful or not, it is you. We climb these mountains, we climb these volcanoes and overcome them completely alone. Because at the end of the day, every day when you go to bed at night, it is you who closes your eyes, not someone else closing your eyes for you. It is you who are stuck with your own dreams. It is you who wakes up with your own motivation. It is you who pushes forward with the knowledge that you know you can do it, you will do it, and essentially it's already been done. Action has to be put forth to do it, though. Talk is cheap. We can talk all day about what we should do. You look ahead and you see the trek ahead and you see that there are obstacles. You have to go over them. They're not just going to melt away because you're afraid of them. Sure, anxiety and depression and fears and all these things hit us. Everyone, including me, we all go through these things. I suffered heavily from depression. Still fight bouts of it to this day. It is what I expect out of life. If it didn't happen, I would think that something was wrong with me internally. Because that means I'm not focusing on what has made me who I am today. Just because something's in the rearview mirror doesn't mean we forget about it. Just because something hasn't come to pass doesn't mean we don't anticipate it. I expect everything and am surprised by nothing. That is something I learned from Jocko Willink. He talks about it all the time. Detachment. Detaching forces you to face and look and observe and learn and experience everything from a single solitary point of view, which is you. You are you. So when you're looking at all these things as a whole, you're detached, which means you're also looking at yourself as a whole. That requires empathy. If you can't look at yourself as a whole within a collective, you are void of empathy. Because if you can't empathize with your own self, how could you possibly empathize with someone else or a group of people? Especially if you have not walked in their shoes remotely or don't experience anything that they've been through. You know, it's all about perspective. My father died when I was 14 years old. Talking to someone who has both parents at the same age, we have two different experiences. That doesn't mean that person's experience is any far less hard as my path has been without having a father. They just have a different set of circumstances. But let's make no bones about it. I'd rather have two parents instead of one. I've never had grandparents. My grandmother died when my mother wasn't even barely out of her teenage years. My grandfather I saw him once or twice a year. I have no idea what a grandparent structure is like. And I talk to people who have them, and oftentimes they're taking it for granted. But it's just a perspective thing. They can't see it. They have no idea what life is like without having these people in their lives at a young age. Then that's okay. But empathy. It's okay not to know, but a person with empathy can understand, identify, and relate and understand if they put themselves in their shoes, they can say, wow, if I went through what you went through, my perspective in life would be completely different. And that's what it takes in detachment and being alone and understanding. That type of thinking has to be deployed every single day for you to interact with people in an effective, positive, purposeful way. Or otherwise, all you are left with is a selfish shell of what could be an otherwise good person. There is no reason in the world an adult of any age should not have formed some sort of empathy along the way and not be able to realize it and use it in a helpful way unless it's a choice not to. Unless selfishness has overcome that empathy so much that you as an individual cannot see that you are not where you are because you did it alone. You had help. We have all had help along the way. But that's what makes going over the volcano alone all that much more important. Because no matter how much help we've had, how much help we'll get, and how much help we are getting at the moment, you will at some point have to face something that no one else can relate to but you. And that's that volcano when you have to cross it alone. When everyone else is gone, when the people you trusted have let you down, when you've been betrayed and abandoned, and you feel as if the world is imploding. And I'm not talking about just relationships. I'm talking about family members. I'm talking about a lot of things. Trauma happens. But you cannot give up. You have to get up and keep going. And you have to do it alone. With minimum help. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's going to help you grow. You have nothing to prove to anyone. But the ultimate proof that you will have is to yourself and your self-love and your self-respect you have for yourself. It is not your job to make sure people understand who you are. It's your job to make sure people understand that you answer the call of yourself each day. And if you're doing that, they can trust that you will probably answer the call for the positive people, places, and things in your life. They can trust that you understand where they're coming from and that when their time for you to help them arises, that you'll be there. Because they can understand that you have been through things alone and have the accountability and the responsibility within yourself, your discipline, your self-respect, your self-love, to face and overcome obstacles and stress alone. You are not asking of other people what you are not wanting from yourself internally, what you do not get in yourself internally. Climbing that mountain, that volcano, and reaching that valley again, this little cycle we have every single day that is eternal, it's infinite. It's every single day. It's how we deal with things, how we see things. We look at people all the time and say, this person is going through something that a lot of people would just cave underneath, and they seem to just keep going. It's perspective. Again, when your father dies at 14 years old, yes, I may have bad days. People may let me down. People may challenge me. Stress may ensue, but it will never, ever add up to the pain and the sorrow and the horrible feeling of knowing you would never see your father again at 14 years old. There is nothing on this planet that can challenge me in a way where my son was born 4 months early and we thought he was going to die every single day for 4 months. We just bad news after bad news. He had all these surgeries. There's nothing in my days that I see now that even comes close to any of those two things. My father passing away and my son almost passing away right in front of my very eyes for 4 months. And a very stressful year after that. It's perspective. There's nothing you could throw at me that's going to make me break. And that is where we want to be in life. We want to know we've been challenged enough where things like not having the material things that we want and not having the finances that we want and the relationships that we want, things that seem to be falling apart. It is nothing compared to things like death. Whether it's you, a loved one, something happened in your life that gives you true perspective, a trauma, someone has abandoned you, someone who doesn't relate to you enough, and you've gone on and on and on and tried to do the right thing and nothing seems to be working out. But you're still here. And it's all about perspective. We all have those moments in life where we can pair what we're going through now up against what has happened or what could happen and say, I'm grateful. I did all that I could. I put all the chips on the table and I bet it all. And I either succeeded or I failed. It was a roll of the dice, and a lot of the factors that related to that outcome were out of my control because I'm only in control of myself. I can only do what I can do. I can only make the decisions I can make. I can only choose to do what I choose to do. But once I make that decision at that crossroads moment, and we go beyond that crossroads moment, and you realize that decision now has consequences. And these things in life is what making climbing that mountain alone that much more profound, because there are no excuses. It's just you. You made the decision. You chose to do something or not to do something. And now you have to deal with the consequences of those actions. And those outcomes may not always be immediately present. It may be years before you realize, wow, I made the wrong decision. We've all been there. Even from my childhood years, we've all made decisions where we was like, at 8 years old, I made this decision and it still affected me to this day. Health-wise, we make decisions and it still affects us. There's all kinds of things that we do every single day that we don't realize the long-term ramifications of having done something or not done something in the moment, and realize the consequences are already in motion the moment we make that decision, one way or the other, positively or negatively. That's the balance of life. Which is why I always love detaching from moments where I feel like this moment may be crucial. You need more than a day. You need more than a week, a month, a year. Sometimes you need years to say, I need to really think this over. And I won't do it until I trust myself enough to know that this is the best solution. I do not want to second guess it. I don't want to cry over it. I don't want to do it. I know this is it. And even then, you're not promised the outcome you desire. It's always going to be out of your control once those decisions are made, when other people are involved. Which is why simplicity in life and knowing you're starting with a core, with boundaries and values and principles, and you're not just rolling the dice because in this moment, this is the easy way out. There is no easy way out of crossroads moments. There is no easy way out of any decision. It may feel easy, it may feel right, it may feel good, but in those moments, we have to realize no matter what we do, that volcano is in front of us and we still have to go over it with all the baggage we're carrying with us, if we're carrying any at all. Me personally, I like to carry as least amount of baggage as possible when I'm going through times of hardship. Through enduring hardships, the tears of pain I shed today will be the tears of joy I shed tomorrow. The brave never fall motto comes from the fact that, again, I expect everything, but I'm surprised by nothing. I can see what's in front of me and I know I would deal with it. It may not be the things that I want. It may not be the journey that I wished. It may not be the turn that I had planned on. But best believe positives can be found in all of those scenarios. No matter how minimum, they are there. And when you start digging through the rubble, when you're in the aftermath of what things are happening with you, or even while you're going through them, that's why I love after action reports, because again, you can detach and start looking at things in real time and saying, slow down. Where am I at here? Am I giving this person a fair chance? Am I doing enough here at this job? Am I giving enough to this religion? Am I giving my all in these relationships? Am I showing up? Am I holding myself responsible and accountable for myself? Am I lying to myself? Am I fooling myself? Am I fooling others? It's all these things, and you can't answer those questions in real time when you're in action. You have to detach and say, where am I, and where the fuck am I supposed to be going from this point forward? If you can't do that, you are at a place in your life where it's time to reevaluate your core. And that goes back to that clay. It's already there. You know it's been serving you well. You just need to add on to some things. Maybe there's some chips there. Maybe some spots need to be reinforced. That's why I talk about the blueprints of life. We can get our blueprints out and we say, okay, listen, I like this, but this corner over here sucks. It's just foundationally, it's just not working. I like the way it looks. I think it'll work, but I got to add on to this. I got to add on to my plan. Why am I looking at a one-story house when I can make two? Why am I looking at a ranch house on this amount of acres when I can add on to it? Why am I looking at a one-car garage when I can add on a two-car garage? It's all about adding on to a good foundation. Now we can start asking for help. Now we can start reaching out and giving help. It's not always about receiving. Me personally, waking up every day and knowing that I got to rely on all these other factors in my life to get me through the day doesn't serve me well. Nobody likes to do that. But the reality is, no matter what we have or what we don't have, we still have to rely on others to do everything every single day. We don't do really technically anything alone. Unless you live and you're completely self-sustained in Alaska somewhere, living off the land, you are relying on people every day. You're relying on the gas. You're relying on the groceries. You're relying on family members. You're relying on your religious friends. You're relying on all these things. So we're getting help every day. People help us stay hydrated every day. That's when we get our water. We're only alive because of all the help and all the things that we get each and every day that is easy for us. The moment we start forgetting that, and someone say, hey, listen, all that shit goes away. We're taking you out in the middle of Alaska. You got to live on your own. How long would you survive? If you think not long, that means you have a lot of help. If you think a few days, that means you have the right idea. If you think you can last a month, you're doing something different than most people. At least in the world we live in today. But here's a thought. How about making sure who we are is serving ourselves well, and we are not interfering with other people's lives negatively because of neglect we give to ourselves. When we neglect our self-love and our self-respect and alignment and the balance within ourselves, we start affecting other people negatively, and then we become not purposeful. We become something that other people will look at as, we need to jettison you because you are no longer a positive force in my life. But that can only be determined by those individuals if they have their shit together. Because again, we can't ask of other people what we're not doing for ourselves. So in order to climb that mountain alone, you have to be ready for it. You have to be strong mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You have to expect the unexpected and not be surprised when the unexpected happens. We have to detach and understand the role we play, not only in our lives, but in the lives of others that rely on us and care for us and want to be there beside us, and believe through our actions that we can be trusted to give them a positive outcome when it's asked upon. Because we expect that of them. We want that from them, I should say. Or maybe we just hope we can surround ourselves with people like that. The important thing is you have the opportunity to make yourself a whole person. So do it. It is not out of the realm of possibility. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up. And if no one had told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that.